Okay, court is officially back in session. And you know who today's witness is? It's actually your younger self. I'm not talking about the version of you who's paying the bills or raising the kids or, stressing over a career. We're looking straight at the kid who quietly blamed themselves for things they absolutely never caused.
Eyes roll back when they preach their grace, but I cry in the dark when I see my face. Red rag tied just to cover the pain. Rebel with a cause, but I'm numb to the rain. Got scars I don't show on the ground. Smile for the world, but I don't know who I am. They say slow down, but the
Welcome back to The Explainer. Last time, we realized how so many of us accidentally became our own worst prosecutor. Today, we're tracking down exactly where that prosecutor first learned the law. Because let's be real, kids don't just naturally accuse themselves. Someone or something taught them how. So the big question we're asking today is simply this: who told you it was your fault? To really wrap our heads around this idea of internalized blame, we gotta look at where it lives. There's this mental courtroom that most people never even see. It's built entirely out of old survival habits. So let's step inside for a second. It's a place where no actual judge is sitting, and there's no objective jury anywhere in sight. But somehow, the trial against you, it runs every single day. Just picture how incredibly tense it feels in there. It's totally empty of anyone who could actually defend you. In this internal space, the witnesses are literally just manifestations of your own past emotional pain. It's this wild, closed-loop system, right? The only testimonies allowed on the stand are the ones reinforcing the idea that whatever went wrong back then was all your fault. And then you look at the sheer mountain of material being used against you. It's wild. Evidence is meticulously scraped together from your oldest mistakes, every little misstep, every awkward moment, and stacked incredibly high in the dark. But here's the kicker. These aren't objective records, not at all. They are highly curated files designed to prove one devastating point, that you are just fundamentally flawed. And yet, despite the dead silence of this room, and the fact that the gavel hasn't even moved, you always end up sentenced. No chance for an appeal. The verdict was handed down years ago, way before you could even comprehend the charges. You just kind of accepted the punishment as a normal fact of life. Section 1, the evidence room, your mind's archive. See, your mind is basically this relentless filing cabinet that literally throws nothing away. In this evidence room, every single failure is carefully archived. Every rejection slapped with a neat little label. And every angry word someone threw at you gets stored as undeniable truth. When we're kids, we just don't have the filter to realize that, hey, maybe that adult's anger is about their own bad day, not our bad character. So the mind just files it away as permanent proof of your inadequacy. Think about a 6-year-old kid for a second. Mom and dad stop talking. Someone leaves. The whole vibe of the house completely flips, but nobody actually explains a thing. A kid going through abandonment, addiction, or emotional neglect just can't process adult decisions. They don't get financial stress or depression or broken marriages. So with that tiny perspective, they inevitably land on one heartbreaking conclusion to make sense of the mess. Maybe it's me. That one tragic sentence turns into evidence. The evidence turns into a belief, and eventually that belief becomes your entire identity. Just look at the actual exhibits submitted against you. These are those painful, repetitive phrases that cemented the idea that you were the cause of the chaos. Things like, if you just behaved better, or you made me angry. When an adult uses that kind of language, they're literally taking the heavy burden of their own emotional regulation and just dumping it right onto a child. And right here is exactly where the trap snaps shut. Eventually, the child stops separating what they do from who they are. They stop saying, I made a mistake, which, by the way, is a totally healthy way to view an action, and they twist it into a permanent core belief. I ruin everything. Fast forward a few decades, and suddenly you're a 35-year-old adult who is still, at your core, apologizing just for existing. So let's put this testimony under a microscope. Did 6-year-old you actually cause the divorce? Did you cause the addiction, the emotional distance, the abuse? Or were you just the smallest person in the room forced to carry the biggest burden? Kids explain chaos by blaming themselves because it gives them a fake sense of control, right? Like, if I cause this, maybe if I'm perfect, I can fix it. But we only heal as adults when we finally look at that explanation and say,
that is hearsay and lacks any foundation.
Zoom out and look at how systems actually work. The hard truth is that broken systems, and we're talking families, communities, sometimes whole generations, they almost always force the people with the absolute least power to carry the most blame. Why? Because honestly, blaming someone else is just so much easier than actual accountability. It's way easier to label a kid as difficult than for an adult to admit they just don't have the tools to parent right. And when that misplaced responsibility goes unchecked for years and years, your sense of self gets so distorted. This right here is the textbook definition of internalized blame. It's a psychological distortion where you basically accept false guilt for trauma you had zero part in causing. It becomes this invisible backpack of bricks you haul into every relationship, every job interview, and every quiet moment, totally convinced that you're just inherently a burden. What's really wild is that this isn't just some modern psychology trend. Humanity has a massive, historical track record of pushing blame downward to dodge accountability. I mean, this goes all the way back to the historical narratives of the Garden of Eden. Things went sideways and what happened? Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. We've literally been passing the buck ever since. But real healing? That interrupts the cycle. The truth doesn't excuse bad actions, but it does place the responsibility exactly where it actually belongs. Section 2. Re-examining the truth. This brings us to the absolute climax of our investigation. We tend to assume that just because a memory is super intense, it must be completely factual. But listen, just because your mind kept a painful memory locked in the evidence room doesn't mean it's telling the objective truth about who you are. The things you internalized as a kid were stored as truth, but in reality, it might just be a lie that has survived way, way too long. It is officially time to throw that outdated evidence out of court. Now, these are the tools we probably weren't handed growing up, and maybe nobody's ever told you this, but to really heal, you can acknowledge your wounds without making them your entire identity. You can forgive without having to pretend the pain never happened, and you can absolutely accept responsibility for your actions today without taking on false guilt for what happened to you as a kid. Real healing kicks in when we finally let the truth become louder than the memory. There's this brilliant insight from the foundational book, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. He says, the body often remembers experiences the mind struggles to explain. Healing isn't about slapping on a smile and pretending the past didn't happen. It's really about learning not to let those heavy, unexplained physical memories and childhood assumptions hijack your future. You have to retrain your body and your mind to realize that the trial, it's finally over. So, members of the jury, after poring over all the evidence today, we have to reject these false accusations once and for all. This court is officially throwing out every single claim that tried to force adult responsibility onto a child. We rule your younger self definitively not guilty. The blame belongs exactly where the evidence points, and I promise you it does not belong on the shoulders of the kid you used to be. As we wrap up this explainer, I've got a challenge for you to take into your week. I want you to literally write down the most painful sentence you've believed about yourself since you were little. Stare at it on the paper. Then, ask yourself this one final, provocative question. Who actually said this first? And is any of that evidence really true? I think you're going to find that the entire case against you was built on nothing but shadows. Until next time, keep examining the evidence.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have let it escalate like that. I know. I'm sorry, too. I love you.
God called it. God called it. Hey, glory, glory, yeah, yeah. If God called it, if God called it, if God called it, if God called it, hey, nobody really could understand it, but he bought it. No. All that horsepower, one bike can't control it. Whoa. One little rudder move the whole ship, he up on it. God got it. If God called it, if God called it, if God called it. Hey. Storms in the sky, but the promise still logic. Boom. Disciples ate off one little chip, still astonished. Wow. God be the glory, yeah. God be the glory. Amen. They don't see the hand, they just see the motion.